Ah, the never-ending saga of American politics, where the drama is juicier than any reality TV show, and the plot twists are as predictable as a toddler's tantrum. Welcome, dear viewers, to yet another episode of As the White House Turns, featuring our favorite protagonist, the one and only Donald J. Trump, still holding on to the reins of power, much like a dog clinging to its favorite bone. We're diving headfirst into the latest chapter of endorsements, betrayals, and the occasional Twitter rant that makes Shakespearean drama look like an episode of Sesame Street. In today's astonishing tale, we find ourselves in the midst of a political endorsement that has left both conservatives and liberals scratching their heads in a rare moment of bipartisan confusion. Yes, folks, President Trump has decided to throw his substantial weight behind Senator Lindsey Graham. This is the same Lindsey Graham who, in the eyes of many true conservatives, is about as ideologically consistent as a weather vane in a hurricane. Our story begins with the usual tweets and Truth Social posts, because where else do political endorsements happen nowadays? Conservative commentator and part-time Trump impersonator Sean Farash couldn't help but tweet his disbelief, presumably while perfecting his Trump voice in front of a mirror. Meanwhile, Chad Prather, another conservative voice, urged everyone to just say no to Lindsey Graham, as if this were a campaign against drugs in the 80s. But perhaps the pièce de résistance of conservative critique comes from town hall columnist Scott Moorfield. He opined that Trump's endorsement of Graham, in a state where, let's be honest, even an eggplant with an R next to its name could win, should be taken with a grain of salt, or perhaps the entire Dead Sea. Moorfield reminds us that while we should appreciate Trump's unique approach to running the country, like a CEO running a company into the ground, his endorsements are as reliable as a weather forecast from a psychic. And then there's Representative Thomas Massie, the Kentucky congressman who dared to oppose Trump's government funding measure, only to find himself on the receiving end of a Trumpian Twitter tirade. Massie, who has apparently become the Democrats' favorite Republican, or so we're told, has experienced a surge in campaign donations after Trump's digital tongue-lashing. Nothing says I'm a true conservative like being attacked by Donald Trump, right? In a move that surprised absolutely no one, Trump vowed to lead the charge to replace Massie, likening him to Liz Cheney. Oops, that's Cheney. But what's a little typo between frenemies? The comparison to Cheney, who suffered her own historic record-breaking fall, is surely the kind of compliment that Massie will treasure forever. As the political circus continues, Senator Graham's campaign manager, Mark Knoop, weighed in, claiming that Graham shares Trump's frustration with Massie. The irony, of course, is that Graham himself has been compared to Liz Cheney, which makes this endorsement look like a game of political musical chairs, where everyone ends up in the wrong seat. Meanwhile, conservative House Freedom Caucus member Massie and Chip Roy found himself in Trump's crosshairs last year for daring to suggest that maybe, just maybe, raising the debt ceiling without major spending cuts isn't the wisest fiscal policy. But hey, who needs fiscal responsibility when you can have great Republican victory as long as it comes with a side of cheap publicity? The White House, in its infinite wisdom, declined to comment on the president's endorsement of Graham. Perhaps they're too busy trying to figure out how to spin this latest episode of political theater. Meanwhile, Graham is off to play golf with Trump and Trey Gowdy because nothing says I'm a conservative leader like a weekend of golf. Pro-life groups are lining up to back Graham's re-election bid, and his campaign is already rolling out the red carpet for them at a press conference. Because if there's one thing we know about Lindsey Graham, it's that he's always ready to be the belle of the conservative ball, even if the music is a little out of tune. Despite all the hoopla, Graham's 2026 re-election bid looms, and while he may have won his 2020 primary with over 67% of the vote, it seems not everyone in South Carolina is a fan. At a Trump rally in his home state, Graham was met with boos, proving that even the most seasoned politicians can't please everyone all the time. So, dear viewers, as we wrap up this segment of political satire and intrigue, we ask you, what do you think of Trump's endorsement of Lindsey Graham? Is it a masterstroke of political strategy or just another episode of the same old reality show? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed our satirical take on the latest political antics, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. We promise to keep delivering the irony and wit that keeps you coming back for more. Until next time, keep questioning the absurd and laughing at the ridiculous, because sometimes that's all we can do.